live. Let's drop the link in the Discord. All right, we're live. So I think we'll do some housekeeping today before we start, like usual. Today and tomorrow are not days to ignore severe weather-wise. So today we've got our moderate risk, conditional intensity group 1. So definitely not something to ignore. Primary areas, what we've got there, western Iowa, eastern Nebraska, is where the biggest threat is. But you can see that extends all the way down the dry line, all the way down into Oklahoma, and up into, I always forget this state. Is this Minnesota? I always ignore that one for some reason. It's just a bit, doesn't seem to come up much when looking at severe weather. You've got wind and hail risks as well. So if you're in this area, or if you know somebody who's in these high risk areas, obviously don't get distracted by the stream. Have a way of getting weather alerts. Same for tomorrow. We've got conditional intensity group 2. So I think, what's that one again? The most likely high intensity is an EF3. So that's in Kansas into southeast Nebraska, but spanning again all the way from Oklahoma up into central Iowa. So quite a large area there. So always have a way to receive tornado warnings, stay up to date with the forecast. If you know how to read radar, have a radar app open. Also, I say let people know who are in that area who may not be as weather aware as you are. Hello there. Just got a first person joining the chat. Yeah, so just if I'm ever streaming and there's actual severe weather going on at the same time, I always make sure just to point it out so people aren't distracted by fake severe weather and then getting impacted by actual real severe weather. Because I do know the majority of the audience tends to be in America. So we're going to continue with career mode. We've only got one skip left, so I think we need to do a chase and just earn a few more skips. Okay, this looks like a decent chase. Cape between 1800 and 3500. Storm relative helicity between 130 and 483. So the low end's quite low, but the high end looks like that could be a really good chase, especially in this western corner of the map. So we've only got one skip left, and I don't want to risk this for what could potentially be an absolutely crap chase. So let's go with this, and we'll keep hunts enabled for this. Right, just been dropped in the middle of a field. Need the headlights on already. Right, let's just turn off these overlays and figure. Oh, look, we've got a nice north-south road all the way up here. So let's get onto that stretch of road, and we'll get ahead of this cell. Let's put reflectivity on, because that'll give us a decent idea of where the storm's going to form. So around here. So let's switch over to velocity now. Once the velocity radar's up, we'll have an idea. So it's probably going to form over here. So let's just try and get as far north as we can. So we've got some buffer room between ourselves and the storm, and then it means we can reposition a few times and get a bit better placement on the probe for intercepts. So I think I spent all the money on upgrades. So we have increased the max speed on our paved road. So 100 miles an hour is the next upgrade. So we're probably at about 95 miles an hour right now. We do have this very inconvenient belt of corn splitting the map, almost perfecting the two halves. So traversing that's going to be a bit costly in terms of time. But once we've crossed it, we've also got a decent road network on the other side. So let's just get ahead of this thing. Keep an eye out for a wall cloud. We add mod support to this 2025 version. Yes, eventually. My priorities are to get the single player version just polished and finished and in a nice state, ready for multiplayer. And then I think I'll do mod support and then move on to multiplayer. but I've still got things to add like controller support. The UI definitely needs a bit more polish added to it. There's lots of just small little bugs which need worked out. So interrupt, we're starting to get a velocity coupler forming on radar exactly to our north, so we're perfectly placed here. Oh yeah, there's right, we're like right under the wall cloud, so we definitely don't want it to plant down right on top of us. So just keep that velocity radar up, because as it intensifies, it gives us a good idea if it's about to drop something. Even in Voden 87. If you answer, no problem. Yeah, feel free to ask questions and suggest stuff. I enjoy just hanging out with the chat, talking about random stuff. We ended up talking about favourite rock bands on one of the last streams, so it doesn't necessarily have to be weather related. It's hard to get into this. So assuming this is moving about 30-35 miles an hour, our relative speed was we're moving 60 miles an hour faster than it, so we'll get ahead of it, but that's a wide wall cloud. Oh, Rainbow. Might as well add on TechQuest and mod support with custom coding functionality. Ooh, now that's something entirely new. So it depends. Like there are like Lua plugins you can get for Unity, which let people write stuff in Lua. That's not really on the roadmap. One thing I was thinking of just creating like a custom script, very simple scripting language, so you can kind of script scenarios. Right, we're ahead of the velocity couplet now, it's behind us. Turn velocity overlay off now, we need to look at the road network. So I think our first intercept is probably going to be along here. That also positions us well to warn these two towns. .9.2 works great. Oh, that's good to hear. Yeah, I'm always worried any time I push an update, I'm always worried that I'll wake up the next day, because I usually push the updates right before I go to bed, which probably isn't the best way to do things actually now that I think about it. It's just the habit I've fallen into. I'm always worried that I'll wake up to like my Steam page having like 80 replies saying that I've broken everything. Like that time I accidentally overwrote the 2023 version of the game with the 2025 version. Woke up to a lot of comments on that day because it broke people's build that couldn't actually open the game anymore, because I'd overwritten like a bunch of like Steam like verification files and stuff, so it would refuse to open. Yeah, so scripting support, that's a difficult one. I haven't really thought about that. Not ruling it out, but it's not on the roadmap right now. That would have to be something far in the future, because especially if I have to write, I've written my own like what's called domain-specific language. So it's like it's kind of like a programming language that's tailored towards a specific use case. So you kind of have to write two separate things. You have Alexa, not Alexa, but Lexer. So that takes whatever you've typed, checks how it's valid, and translates it into a stream of tokens. You then have your parser, which takes those tokens, kind of builds up a tree-like structure, and then executes it, and then takes the actions that the instructions tell you to do. So those are two separate, very complicated things to write. Writing custom language parsers is not really something I want to have to add into the game. It's a lot of complexity that it introduces there. What I could do though, which would be more feasible, would just have a very simple language. Maybe even just not even a language. Maybe just have like a CSV file where each row just tells you when a tornado spawns, like what its intensity will be, how long it'll take to reach max intensity, where it'll spawn, the speed it'll move, etc. And then you can just kind of create a spreadsheet, drop it in a scenarios folder. I definitely have something like that. Add Tiv and Dominator. So I think that's probably one of the most asked questions, is if I've added Tiv or Dominator. I don't know what the licensing rules are around that, and I don't have the 3D modeling skill to create decent models of them anyway. So I think I'll leave that for mod support. So if somebody wants to mod it into the game, they can, but I guess the ensuring that they've got permission to do so, that's kind of on them. Whereas if I introduce it officially into a game that's sold on Steam, I guess I'm liable for any sort of like copyright infringement or intellectual property like violations. So I don't plan to add them officially in the game, no. But further down the line, like I say, once I've added mod support for vehicles, if other people want to add it, yeah, it will be possible. Oh yeah, Rainbow's pretty much said what I was already saying. You've got copyright issues with that. Okay, oh, the Tonya's touching down. Right, where's it head? Oh, please don't head off the map. Remember last chase where we had like just two skinny little ropes that did like nothing and went off the map straight away? That was a really annoying chase. I was quite disappointed with that. But just like in real life, it doesn't always work out exactly how you'd hoped. So let's flip a Yui. Actually, more of a 3-point turn. Original live stream from a storm chase. Weather probes and generate SKU diagrams live. That's cool. Yeah, go ahead. People do cool work. Feel free to name them. It's not like, oh, you can only talk about this game, blah blah blah. Like if people are doing cool stuff to do with tornadoes, feel free to name the channel in the chat. I do know. Is that the same team who does all the stuff with the drones? Add money in the game. So to earn money, if you're talking about this version, the rebuild version, you need to deploy your probe. You go to the data page and then you click the analyze data button, and you'll be paid money for each of your samples. The trick to earning the most amount of money is you want to try and get data from as many different F samples, so F1 through F5, you want to get as much data from as many of those categories as you can, and from as many different data types as you can. So there's bonus multipliers for each one of these that aren't 0. So the more data you have, the more you fill out this table before you click analyze, the more you'll earn. Oh, yeah, Vince, yeah, he does excellent stuff. I like his streams. Yeah, the rebuild. Yeah, so yeah, that's what you have to do. So you'll see how to do it live on stream. Hopefully, if we get a decent enough tornado to actually intercept. This one looks tiny. Let's have a look at the environment. Helicity's decent there. Let's take a look at Cape. Cape's decent as well. It must just be a narrower tornado, just how the randomization in the game works. Yeah, the only way I could think to add coding support without adding a load of complexity is to... Oh, it's dangerous as well. Because you don't know exactly... Because people could potentially write malicious code. I was thinking is having some sort of like template project which has some of like have some like DLL files which let you interact with the different components in the game. And then so you'd open that Unity project and compile that, and you'd have a DLL which you could then put in your game directory. But if people start sharing those mods and sharing DLLs, which are essentially executable code, there's no guarantee what they can do. That could potentially be opening up a can of worms. But yeah, I know what you mean. Because you add that, it adds a lot more flexibility to what people can add to the game. It does up some risk as well. Let's hop out the truck and see what we can So I see the shadow of the funnel there. It's still not touched down completely. One thing I need to do is move tornadoes up another 100 meters or so. So back when it used to be just the tiles in the game, it would load like the 9 tiles around you, or the tile you're on and the 8 surrounding. If the tornadoes were at ground level, like the bottom was perfectly flush with the ground, because the tiles further away didn't load, it looked like the tornado was floating. But now that I've added a big kind of like terrain overlay that stretches beyond this, that shouldn't be as much of a problem anymore, which means we get better view of the debris cloud as well, and just more of a view of the tornado overall. Look, the funnel's directly overhead. We need to stay ahead of this though. It's one of the tricks to earning a decent amount of money in the game. You need to stay ahead of the storm so that you can do repeated deployments. If you end up behind it, you have to then catch up and get ahead, and what often happens, you'll see on the stream, it happens repeatedly, I need to get ahead of the tornado, but it's on the road that I need to get in front of it. So then I've kind of got to wait and just sit and wait for it to clear the road so I can get past it, which isn't ideal. Maybe we can try for an intercept, even though it's not really, there's not really any sort of visual cues, is there, to where it is. There's not even a dust cloud. Change from 2,000 to 20,000. Oh, well, I must be right in the tornado here. I must have unwittingly driven into it. That town's in danger, and now let's... Yeah, this one's going straight off the map. We might have got a little bit of data there. Yeah, we've got 4 F1 samples there from accidentally driving into it. I think what we'll do is we'll stay ahead of it because we may need to warn this town. Yeah, it does look like it's heading straight towards it. And let's use that little motorway. There's not really any reason to, I would just like to because they're new. So, if you want to edit the game files, I don't actually know where the save data is saved. If you look up Unity player prefs, so player PLAYER prefs, PREFS, look up where those are saved on Windows. I don't know the directory off the top of my head, and then look up how to edit those files. You can probably just edit your money in there, but it may kill some of the fun if you just edit the money that you need rather than playing the way that's intended. Oh, we've got a bit more of a funnel now, rather than playing the way that's intended, which is to deploy probes and collect data and sell it. Have to go. Okay, so how do you pronounce that? Kebabik? Kebabik? Probably shouldn't have been looking at the chat there. Right. We've probably just lost all our data. We've still got 1 sample left. Oh, that's making a beeline for that town. Right. We're going to have to take an indirect route while the tornado takes a direct route. Right, we need to go left then left. But the funnel was coming down, and then it's kind of just stopped. Oh, that's a pretty trippy view. Oh, left and then left. Oh, it looks like it might just miss, but we never know. It could turn left again. Let's just warn them to be on the safe side. It looks like it might hit the southeast corner. Looks like that house got hit. Where is it? Looks like we're about to drive into it. It's just to our right. Doesn't look like it's wanting to fully condense and go all the way to the ground. still haven't figured out what's causing the vegetation to disappear. Like I said, I need to replace the vegetation engine that I'm using in here. Oh, there it is. Right, we might be able to get one intercept in. Maybe somewhere on this dirt road, maybe in the hills. Hey, from Poland, it's already 10 PM. Yeah, you're an hour ahead. Well, enjoy, thanks for joining, and hopefully we'll catch you on the next stream. I have to zoom in here, because it's like no clue at all where the tornado actually is. I think we're just going to have to drive into it and collect data that way. Because it's, yeah, not one to properly condense. There we go, 80 mile an hour, 100. There we go, we'll collect some, we'll get some F2 data there. Yeah, got F2 data there for a second. Let's just hang out in the tornado. We're good 70, 80 mile an hour winds, F1 strength. Brief F2 strength winds. But yeah, hopefully this one goes off the map. What I may do actually, let's make our way towards the center of the map again. Because this was a pretty lame tornado, admittedly. It's just starting to form a bit of a debris cloud there, but it's about to go off the map. If it hunts, I think I'll go off the map as well. That one wasn't great. Come on, we want to chase like a decently sized tornado, and that one's just like this thin needle. It's barely even touching the ground. So let's do. Let's go to the middle of the map, and that gives us more options for chasing. Of course, it wants to look more impressive now that it's about to go off the map. I think turn the headlights off now, the map's bright enough. Right, where do I want to be? I want to get just south as quickly as possible. Yeah, looks like it's starting to lift now. Just once it goes out the bounds of the map, it's programmed to just rope out. Yeah, we'll go right. Then left, and then we can come down this way. Let's just try and get towards the middle of the map before the tornado ropes out and the storm dissipates. And then left. Come on, I want the grass to come back. It's very barren without any grass or vegetation of any sort. Hello, Real Smurf. So our first tornado, it wasn't a very big one, and it went immediately off the map. So I'm just heading towards the center of the map for the next tornado. Right, let's turn right and then left again. Yeah, I'll be streaming for at least the next hour. Right, so the tornado's almost roped out. Then so going this order. So the tornado will rope out, then the wall cloud will dissipate, and then very quickly after that, the cell will essentially just dissolve. So we just want to get into a good spot. Maybe here. I'm not sure how much time we'll have before the wall cloud still looks like it's at full strength. Well, I haven't added anything since the update yesterday. This is purely just a fun stream, just to enjoy chasing tornadoes and see what happens. Does the game have tornadoes as big as El Reno 2013? So let me remember. The maximum possible width for the top of the funnel, so the part closest to the wall cloud, is 2,400 meters. So what does that work out as? Let me just use my calculator to do a rough estimate. So 2,400 meters. What am I doing there? Sorry, 2.4 divided by 1.609. So that's about 1.5 miles, like the top of the tornado, and then the base of the tornado closest to the ground is some random fraction. So theoretically, you can have tornadoes very close to 1.5 miles wide in the game. So not quite El Reno width, but the problem I'd have is to make them. The way it works is you essentially imagine like a 3D cube, and it's full of pixels, so either on or off, say that whether there's density in there or not. To support tornadoes that wide, it would mean that the pixels would have to be much bigger and much blockier. So it's just kind of like when you get like a small image and you scale it up, you just end up with a lot of blocky pixels, and that would mean smaller tornadoes wouldn't look as good. You wouldn't have as much fidelity or detail there, because you have to be able to support that larger image size, so to speak. So it would have to be almost double the resolution it is now. But since it's a cube, if you double the resolution, it takes 8 times more memory. And I'm already kind of pushing the limits of my GPU as it is. So no, you can't get El Reno width yet. Maybe what I could do is have one specific tornado model which is set up to be that size. Actually, I don't want to be that. I want to go the other way. I'm going to head east just so it's away from the edge of the map. But I'm quite happy with the tornado system as it is. So yeah, 1.5 miles is realistically the largest width you'd get. What was El Reno 2.6? Have you seen Into the Storm or Twisters? Trains or planes being shown in the game. I do actually have a plan for trains. I want to add like a railroad tile with some railroad crossings, and then I'll need to find like a decent like freight train model and just have it move across the map. I have to figure out the logic of how exactly that'll work. But yeah, it means you can get like a coated railroad crossing with a really slow moving freight train blocking your path. Plus I think I'd be able to put the position of it on the map as well live, so you could see if you're about to get cut off. Which I guess gives you an advantage which you wouldn't have in real life. Even though, speaking of which, today I did actually get stopped at a level crossing. So I opened up a live train map to see where the train was, to see how long we had to wait. And it was only out of sync by maybe about 10 or 20 seconds. So I was quite impressed with the accuracy of it. Let's see, is that starting to collapse yet? It's right at the limit of what the camera can render. Yeah, so I think if we stop at this intersection and we'll just wait a bit till... And yes, I've seen Twisters, Into the Storm. Twister, like the original from 1996, is my all-time favourite movie. I went off on a tangent at the end of one of my streams a few weeks ago where I went into detail on where the Twister filming locations actually were and where they correspond to in the 2023 version of the game. But yeah, I've spent a lot of time meeting some other fans of the movie, spent a lot of time documenting and just trying to hunt out different filming locations in Twister. Because once you know where a few of the filming locations are, you can use like Google Street View and Google Maps to start trying to spot other ones. Yeah, I'll get onto storm structure eventually. It's just once you're actually underneath um, the storm structure doesn't really matter. It's only really impressive when you're like at a distance from the storm. Once you're underneath, not as much of a difference. I think like having like an inflow tail and stuff would be cool. And a ghost train, or what's the official term, rear inflow jet. Yeah, the reason I know I know you're really excited about having more realistic storm structure in the game. The reason I'm kind of putting it off is the priorities for the game are the first one is always fun, making the gameplay fun, then making it look cool, and then making it realistic. So fun and visuals come before realism, but I will get there. Like I think it would be cool having like a rear inflow jet streaming into the wall cloud. And then I think I do need anvil, so at least from a distance it looks a bit more storm-like and less mashed potato-like. Try an AMD SD40 diesel locomotive. Yeah, what was the one? I went through a bit of a freight train phase while I was playing Train Sim World a few months ago. I say a few months ago. I think I'm coming up almost a year ago. Yeah, I like driving like the American freight trains. I can't remember which one it was. It was the one that the Crazy Eights one, the one that they made the movie about the runaway train. It was the same model freight train as that. It's having fun driving. AMD SD40. Let me just type that on my phone. Oh yeah, that's what I think of when I think of like a proper American freight train. But it'll depend on what I can reasonably purchase, because I'll have to buy the 3D model. It needs to be something. Yeah, I guess it doesn't necessarily have to go around corners actually, because I can just limit the tracks to being straight, so running straight east to west or north to south down the map. It's 3,000 horsepower, diesel electric locomotive. Yeah, that's cool. CSX 8888. Yeah, what type of freight train was that? Oh, that was the AMD SD40. Yeah. Yeah, it was a good movie. Unstoppable. That's the one. Thank you. Actually, I might be able to increase the render distance a bit. Oh, I think I've already got it maxed out. I've already got it maxed out at 12 kilometers. I think anything beyond that's going to start straining the system a bit. Yeah, so we'll just have a little bit of a wait and a chat here while wait for it. The real life story for that as well was really interesting as well. There's like a YouTube channel. Oh, it must have, look, the cells spawning on top of that one must have died out. We're getting our next storm. I was like Fascinating Horror, that YouTube channel. I think they did a video on the Crazy Eights incident. Right, let's get our reflectivity on first. Okay, it's probably going to put down there. Let's switch over to velocity. So we're probably, and I hope I don't regret this, we're probably going to have to bridge across this. We've got hills and a cornfield and hills. So let's just head east. We're going to have to just plow through all those. What I'm hoping is, I know in my luck this will happen. We'll make the effort to cross all of this, and we're going to be off-road most of it, so it's going to be really slow. It's going to spawn here and then move that way, and we'll have to cross it again. If I'm making a Dodge Ram or storm chasing van or tip, So I do actually, since we've got the yellow, not a Jeep Honcho, not a J10, not a Honcho, um, for copyright reasons, just a yellow truck that happens to resemble the one from Twister. Yeah, I do also want to get the red truck named after a sheep. I do want to have that. I think that'd be a good pair of trucks to have in the game. I was really disappointed actually. A while back, I actually purchased it was like a 3D, not 3D model, but like a construct it yourself kit. What's it called? Just like kind of like Airfix, but for like trucks. Um, of the J10, and I had like my airbrush ready and everything for it, and purchased the colours I needed. Waited a month, and then the order got cancelled, and I had no stock left, and I never reordered it. So I've got 124 scale and 118th scale Dorothy 3D models for sale on my Twister Props store page. So I do have both the 24 scale and 118 scale painted and ready. I was going to put one in the back of the Jeep once the scale model arrived, and yeah, ordered from Germany, and then they cancelled the order after a couple of months. Yeah, tell me about both your last two clips. Cool. Yeah, 1983 Ford Ranger, the long bed. Yeah, it really depends on copyright, whether I can have a Ford, whether I can get like an unbranded one in the game, how much the model is, because any sort of suggestion, like I've got to get it in the game one way or another, so it's either modelling it myself, paying somebody else to model it, or buying one that's already been done. It's cost money, which is why I'm kind of just sticking to the Jeep for now. But yeah, I did admittedly use AI to generate the clips. I'm just trying to get more engagement. I think a lot of my thumbnails are just random screenshots or random stills from the stream, and I don't think that's as eye-catching as having something with big bold text and a bit of AI enhancement added to the graphics. So yeah, I'm going to try and do that a bit more often. I'm trying my best to market the game, and I think putting a bit more effort into the thumbnails makes a bit of a difference. We'll see. I just put them on this afternoon. Alright, so that wall cloud's spinning up there. Right, this side of the road network's not that nice. Right, I think we want to head north a bit more. But hopefully this one's an actual decent tornado. Head east-northeast. No, I want to be more northeast. Yeah. Alright, look, that's really spinning up there. It's about to drop something. Better not to run like straight north. There we go. It's starting to drop something now. You know, I was just saying I better not just go straight north when I go to this much effort. And that's exactly what it's doing. But look, this one, like, we're getting the debris cloud already. So hopefully this one's a bit more visible, with a few more intercept opportunities. Plus we're overdue for a hunt, so we can kind of encourage it this way. And then after each hunt, it re-randomizes its direction it's moving in. So hopefully this one, a bit more exciting. Night Foden, have a good one. I'll see you next stream if you're able to make it. What do you think of an F6? So there is actually like a mathematical formula you can use, so you can plug in any sort of Vegeta rating. Like you put in like F55 or whatever, and it would tell you what the wind speed would have to be. But I think at some point you have to hit the upper limit of what's actually possible with physics, and I imagine F5 is what's possible with physics, because at some point, I guess air by definition can't move faster than the speed of sound. There's probably some edge cases and stuff, and there'll be somebody who knows fluid dynamics much better than me, but well, actually. But imagine just with your everyday winds that you're not realistically going to have winds moving faster than the speed of sound. So whatever that would happen to be, that possibly could correspond to F6, like the air itself was moving as fast as air's physically able to move. But I don't know. I'm just imagining if an F6 was possible, we'd probably see one. I do know, was it Tom Grazoulis, his name right, did say if an F6 tornado has ever been captured on video, it would be the 1995 Pampa, Texas tornado. You know, the one saying like almost every tornado documentary, where it's like, didn't it throw like freight train cars or something ridiculous like that? When it hits the industrial estate and it's just shredding everything. I guess that's probably the closest thing we could probably got to video footage of something which could be an F6. Oh look, it's turning a bit more northeast. Okay, hopefully we can have a bit of a chase and a bit of actual intercepting here. Look at that debris cloud. Okay, we've actually got some visuals, something we can see, something we can plant ourselves in front of and use as a visual reference, so that's good. This one's going to be a much better chase. Right, let's try and race it to this stretch of road along here. Let's try and get our first intercept. So now we're 40 minutes into the stream and haven't even attempted a deployment yet. Just how these go sometimes. That's looking cool. Did roll some industrial vehicles. Kind of overhyped. Yeah, it was the very first real life tornado footage. Actually, I'm thinking that's intensifying rapidly. And the very first tornado footage I ever saw was the Pampa, Texas. The what was the policeman's name? Police officer's name? Drawing a blank here. But his dashcam footage. I say dashcam. I guess dashcams weren't even a thing back then. Literally a video camera mounted on his dashboard, which I guess he had to have as a police officer, of the touching down just outside of Pampa, moving through the industrial estate. Really cool visuals. Right, this is a nice tornado we've got here. Right, let's get set up for an intercept. And we are about due for a hunt, so I'm risking it a bit going off-road here. So if you recall correctly, if you keep 0 to 12 range on the EF scale, the 6 would start at 235, which more or less checks out because it's essentially around the max 3-second gust a tornado can do. What do I think of the Jarrell 997? Well, that's a dead man walking tornado, isn't it? That's also the one, Glenn Powell. What's the name of the guy who's in Twisters? I remember his name. I'm putting two different famous names together there. Oh, we're gonna have to move quick for this deployment, right? That was his first tornado. Yeah, like the story he tells in the movie of his character, he's actually retelling his actual real-life childhood story of seeing a tornado for the first time. If I recall correctly, it may be based on it. I don't know if it's the exact story. I wonder if the overpass will get destroyed. Maybe not yet. We're into the F2, F3 range. But let's get ahead of it. We might be able to deploy on that next motorway over there. Seen tornado from 996 with the pilot machine. I haven't actually watched it fully. I've started watching it. It's very low budget. But I did watch actually a video, somebody comparing Tornado to Twister, and what I didn't expect is about halfway through the show visualization of Dorothy, and actually used my Dorothy software replica for that. So I just suddenly saw my own software showed in that YouTube video. They actually put a bit more thought into the science for Tornado, I think, compared to Twister. And it's far more realistic in terms of the science, like to the instruments they have and the way they describe them do actually make sense. But yeah, I should probably just sit down and watch it one night. Or maybe do like a reaction video to it or something. Oh no, the vegetation disappeared. That's what makes everything look cool, because you can see it flying about in the wind. Right, let's try and do... My elevated intercepts almost always go wrong. Let's go for it. We don't have any speed limit along here. Maybe I should stay in first person view just so I can stay on the road properly. Right, we pretty much want to deploy directly on that junction and then head north. I'm not sure if we'll have time for a full deployment, so we'll do quick deploy and head north. And then if I can, I'll try and get the probe camera up and tilt it towards the tornado. That's getting strong fast. I just don't want it to go, it looks like it's going to go off the north end of the map. So you're going to stop targeting you while hunting if you're hiding a storm shelter. Yeah, that's easy enough to add. So I do need to add storm shelters as like a gameplay mechanic. So we're getting F1 strength, F2. Yeah, F2 is the highest we're getting there. If it hunts, we've got nowhere to go. I think after this goes off the map, we will... I'm going to do a quick recall. That looks really nice. Quick recall, I'm going to try and get a few more deployments out of this. Right, I'm going to knock down this fence. I think we need to go off-road a bit. We want to be on the rightmost flank of the funnel. So about here. I just hope it doesn't hunt because I've literally got no escape route. Other than driving off the map. There we go, that's going to be a much better hit. How are we doing in terms of data? Okay, maybe I should have changed the data type. I'll do that for the next one. Probe camera, let's just take a look what we've got happening here. Yeah, so I just need to add storm shelters as an actual thing in the game where you can go. And then it just add to the logic, it just checks the state of the player. If they're sheltered, then it'll just move around randomly, maybe just chaotically. Oh, I forgot I'm actually in the path of this thing as well. F2. Yeah, I think this is a pretty solid F2 tornado. Do a quick recall. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a moment here just to change the data type. Didn't want to do that. Right, let's risk it. Let's go off-road. Of course it gets intense and interesting right when it's about to go off the map. I think after this goes off the map, we'll generate a new map, new chase day, and we'll see what happens on the new chase. Right, I need to turn the camera off so I can see if oh, it's going to hit that town. Let's try and warn them. I don't even know if we can. Yeah, this isn't good. Let's do a quick deploy, get some data, and I'm going to have to drive north quickly here to get away from it. Whoa, not good. That trailer park's about to get absolutely wrecked though. Luckily it's turned away right at the last second. So hopefully minimal or no injuries. Let's see, are we getting any temperature data? Okay, yeah, these last two chases haven't been great. Road network hasn't been great. The tornado direction hasn't been great either. Oh, at least we're getting some F2 data. We'll get a little bit of money here. Maybe be able to upgrade a few things. So I'll wait till we stop getting data. Somehow that survived. So, yeah, once that's no longer getting any data for us, yeah, it's not. So let's just analyze the data. Boom, 1,600. I don't think we're really going to be able to afford anything else. So let's go back to the main menu and set up another scenario. Just excuse me 1 minute. I can hear one of my daughters is out of bed, so I'm just going to go check if everything's all right. That was weird. Both sound asleep, so either that or very good at pretending to be asleep. Thought I heard somebody walking around downstairs. Either that or I'm haunted or there's a burglar in the house, but I don't own anything worth stealing, so joke's on them. I've got another 5 to 10. Alright. 1 sec. It must be my neighbour thudding around in their house. I keep feeling like I can hear somebody up and walking around the house. Right. Let's chase. Right, hopefully better road network this time. Yeah, we've just got this gap to bridge, but other than that, looks decently well connected. Invisible walls prevent you from escaping. Either that or maybe like a countdown, so like you can temporarily go off the map to kind of escape the tornado, like the situation we were in, but it only gives you like 30 seconds before like it ends your game. I'm just gonna get a drink here. The making certain multiplayer tornadoes will stop hunting if every player is hiding. Oh, that's going to be an interesting one. I think maybe hunts may not be a thing for multiplayer, because it could be. Multiplayer is going to be complicated enough without having the tornado decide who to chase, and then you've got to synchronize all that movement across all the players on the network. And then if somebody what happens like if the player it's chasing disconnects? Like, how does it decide? Does it go to the next closest player? Does that? It will be fun, admittedly. Just thinking, how would that work? Yeah, I guess that would be how it would have to work. Maybe just when it decides to hunt, it goes after the closest player. Or, even more interesting, it should do it at random. Because if you know it's the closest player, you could also have one player whose job is to kind of distract it. Whereas if it's at random, you can have the panic for the first like 1 or 2 minutes of the hunt, trying to figure out which player it's actually following, so people know who to avoid. That could actually be really fun. Yeah, you can shelter. But I guess what it would do, if the player it's hunting shelters, it'll then change to someone else until there's nobody left. Oh, that's developing. That wall cloud just appeared out of nowhere. Right, velocity. Perfect. It's all the way down here, and it looks like it's, yeah. Hopefully, well, that's getting an intense couplet there. It's probably about to drop something. But yeah, I think that'll probably have to be the logic. Chase, just choose a player at random. If they disconnect, choose another player at random until there's no. If somebody shelters, select another player at random. Until there's no other players that are chaseable. Oh, it's already looks like it's already putting something down. Look on the map, you're seeing the outline, the wind field there, and it's moving northeast, just what we want. Right, this chase is already working out better. Let's take a look at the forecast cape. Oh god, nice dark splotches of cape all throughout the map. Helicity, we've got pretty much just full coverage of Helicity all over the entire map there. So, right, turn those overlays off. Maybe we should warn this town. Yeah, I think we've got time to warn this town and then try for an intercept. Oh yeah, here it comes. Yeah, let's warn this town. Also, a small detail you might notice, added just a little bit amount of raised dirt around the siren just for a little bit extra detail. Whoa, that is intense. But this is reminding me of Moa 2030 and just how quickly it's intensifying. It's gone from a, what we say, a rope to a stovepipe in a couple of minutes. So let's see if it wedges out another couple of minutes like the Moa one did. Right, I can tell this is going to be a good chase. Have we overshot? I think we may have overshot a bit. Oh look, it's widening. So it feels like the tornado's developing as quickly as in sandbox mode when I max everything out, as it is in career mode where things are purposely a bit slower paced. Right. I think we'll go like another 30-40 meters this way, then I think we're ready to deploy. Let's do a manual deployment for the sake of drama. Now we need to plan our next intercept, so let's head east. And then north. One thing I'm thinking, we're going to want to take, so if we take, yeah, it's going to be a bit too, if we go here, we can't get across to here, so we're going to have to take this east, so hopefully we cross there before the tornado destroys it and cuts us off. I do want to add an unfinished one of these where it forces you to like jump through the air. Like I'll make it purposely like steep on one side so you can gain some air. Alright, should we try and do an elevated intercept? We'll do quick recall. Change the data type, change the temperature. Right, let's do our elevated intercept and then let's get back in the truck and driven away, because once it hits this, if it's strong enough to collapse the bridge, we'll fall through it as well. Right, we need to race it to the north. -2 samples, I didn't even crash into anything there. What's that? Something's flying. Those bales of hay. Right, looks like it's going to hit right where this overpass is. So let's do a quick recall, quick deploy. That thing's flying. I want to change the data type again. Pressure this time, and we need to be going. We need to be gone. Third of a mile already, moving 35 miles an hour. 35 miles an hour. You think, oh, That'll be easy to outrun. But actually, considering it just moves continuously at that speed, doesn't have to slow down for any obstacle, that's still quite dangerous, still very dangerous. Oh, I think we're just outside the wind field there. Turning a bit more north. Maybe we can redeploy up here. We're still getting F1 data. Yeah, but look at this thing, man. That's beast of a tornado there. Right, let's get in. Quick recall, quick deploy, because we really don't have time to hang around here. Oh, we should probably warn those towns. I think that's top priority now. Get those towns warned. So that's the next right. Not this one, but the next right. Solar panels are going flying. That fence will go flying in a second as well, as will this house. Can you add a tornado selection of what type you want to chase? Like stovepipe or wedge? It's hard. The way the logic's designed in the game is that tornadoes are inherently random. What I could do is give some control over the randomization. So right now there's like a random multiplier every tornado is given, which is like its max width, regardless of everything else. So what you could do is you could set like a min or max, or fix it to a value you want. So if you fix it to 1, you're gonna have wedges. If the tornado becomes strong enough to wedge out, or you can have them always be like drill bits or stovepipes, but it's going to be hard to give a specific type just because the rendering, it's all designed to be randomized. I think we need to do, well, this is going F4 already. Quick recall, quick deploy. I'll quickly change the data type. Right. I haven't even looked at the data page yet, haven't had a chance. We need to warn the neighbouring town as well. Oh, it's already getting impacted. Right. Oh, it's turning directly over them. This is like the worst case. It could have literally turned east at any point, and it's chose right where it's going to take it over to trailer park. So we need to warn these people here as well. They're not going to have much warning. You can hear everything. Can you hear everything smashing apart? Ah, what? The sound of the siren, man. I'm too close to the truck. Oh, we've got our injuries, that's not good. Alright, I think we need to be going. Where we need to go, I'm not sure, but we just need to not be here. Yeah, we're gonna have to duck south. Oh, look, it's shredding the trailer park. So hopefully we'll give people enough warning, but I'm conscious that was about 10 seconds of warning before it hit. I think this thing's going to go F5. Should I enable the overlay, see what's happening in terms of injuries? Hopefully we've saved far more lives. Right, we need to plan. Oh no. No, 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 no. I didn't see that. What do we do? What do we do? There's no remote warnings. That's not good. That's really not good. The only thing I think is I've got nothing. We're gonna have to cut behind it and go up around this way. That we're just not gonna be able to do that. The tornado's too strong. Look at that, man. It's almost half a mile wide. This isn't good. Like, I can't even get close. I can't even get close. Yeah, it's really like a helpless feeling you have when you're like As like plan A, go up here and off-road. As like I can't, the tornadoes in the way, it'll take too long. I can try and cut this way. Like we've got no way to communicate with them. The only thing I can think of is be close enough to it and in a position so that if it hunts, it moves directly away from them. Yeah, no, these poor people have no warning. Right, we're going to have to race it up here. Otherwise we're going to have to go off-road and we're going to lose too much time. Right, this is a bit of a dangerous maneuver. We're going to have to get to this T-junction and turn right. Unfortunately, we haven't been able to warn any of those people. But if we stay ahead, we can warn them on the next one. I don't even have the probe. Let's quick recall. Oops. Didn't see that. Okay, that cost us 6 samples. We definitely don't want to get stuck on the ground here. Not good. Feel like a failure of a storm chaser doing that. 3 towns right next to each other. That should have been, as soon as they were flashing red, that should have been the first thing I was prioritised, and I got completely distracted. So 13 people killed so far on our chase and Korea, but on the bright side, 323 people saved. I think maybe we'll deploy up here and then we'll actually, you know what, change of plans. Let's deploy, but I think should we race it through the hills? Right, it's getting a bit close. Whoa, big power flash. I don't want to race it through the hills. We'll drive here till we get to the motorway. And then we can go north. Oh look, we're starting to get some F5 in there. I'm telling you, it's an F5. What's the probe picking up? F1, it's not even in the wind field. It's not even in the wind field yet. That's just that's going to lag the game a bit, having to render 2 tornadoes. So the headlights off. Want to turn left here? No. Yeah. Left. I don't know why. No. Right. I don't know why I'm struggling with directions all of a sudden. Right, we'll take that first motorway and we'll get across here, and then we can warn these towns. I think top priority now, we need to redeem ourselves. Let's forget the data and the science for a little bit and warn these towns. See, on here there's no speed limit, so we'll go as fast as the truck will carry us. Said ground scarring. Yeah, I figure out the best way to do that, whether I update the terrain texture, which is a bit difficult because that's procedurally generated. Maybe I can add like a texture on top and write to that. Oh look, well, you have to go down here and then all the way up here. I still think we might be able to give them some warning. Like, the only thing you can do is try. That thing's an F5. It's almost half a mile wide. F5 tornado. Right, I need to be first person view here. 106 miles an hour. It's closing in rapidly on that town. The only thing you do is try. It's like when they say, like, if you're losing control of like an aeroplane, you fly it down to the. You never give up. You fly that thing down to the ground till you can't fly it anymore. So we're in that situation now. Like, it's gonna be really difficult to warn this town, but the only thing we can do is put our foot to the floor and try our best. Come on. Oh, I thought that it was out. It's turning north. Look, the flashing keeps stopping. So maybe luck's on our side and it's going to miss these. But this can still cause injuries, this F1 wind field, and that's quite broad. So yeah, let's warn them. Hopefully we'll be able to warn them and then go for an intercept along here, assuming there's enough time to do all that. Right. No, now look, it'll turn east. Oh no, it's heading more north. Look, this isn't even being warned now, so it must be going almost directly north. Yeah, it's right on the edge of whether it should be warned or not. So let's just warn them anyway. Better to warn them and they don't need it than the alternative. Yeah, removing vegetation should hopefully be straightforward. I just need to update the splat map for the vegetation. Updating the texture on the terrain is going to be a little bit more tricky. Power flash, big one there. Wait, how is that back? I fixed that. Oh, I think I only fixed that. No, I fixed that. What's going on there? I specifically went into the editor and removed that. I wonder if it's the rotated version of the tile it's still in. Look, we're getting some F5 wind. Look, I don't think it's subvolts yet, but we're getting some F5 wind speeds in there. This is a strong tornado. Let's warn this next town, and then the town to the north, and then we might be able to get an intercept up here. Let's just get the probe back in the truck. That one to the north's looking like it's in the most danger, but I think it could change direction at any point. Plus it could hunt and then just move directly towards these people, and it'll be our fault for positioning ourselves there. But let's just do our best. We're going to have to go through that hill, which is going to slow us down a lot. 7 lives saved. Okay, I think we're redeeming ourselves a bit here. Everybody's in shelter there. People are starting to shelter here, but it looks like that town's going to take a direct hit. Let's go first person view. Just makes it a little bit easier to steer. I wonder what's happening. I wonder if the way I'm loading the tiles is somehow adding those weird bumps right at the end. But one injury. Not what you want to see. Look at that. Heading straight for here. Is it bad to deploy a probe where people are thinking, well, it's going to get hit anyway? Oh, another power flash. Right. We need to get out of here. Oh, stuff's flying. It's getting them. Right, intercept. That's the thing in terms of intercept location now. We need to get some data. Look, we're getting F5. This is an F5. These are relatively rare in the game. I think a lot of times we'll see high-end F4. If we're lucky. So... I don't think driving towards it on that next road going west is going to be wise. What I think is we'll bridge across here. How are we doing on data, by the way? I haven't even checked it. Oh, we've got a decent selection of data there. Collection of data. Real Smurf's got. It's called Rick Astley stuck in the head. Right, I think let's do a high risk intercept and try and intercept along here. I don't think I'm going to have time to definitely not going to have time to change the data type, but we can do a quick deploy right on this road. Let's see. Right, we're going to have to move quick. We have to move very quick. I feel like I'm about to get eddied. I think we're about to drive into it. No, there's abort. Let's do a quick deploy, and I'm going to do a U-turn and get out of here. So don't mindlessly stick to a plan if it becomes very apparent it's not a very good plan. Yeah, I would have driven straight into that. That was a close call. Almost got hit by a cow there. You see how the debris field, that can become costly. If we can move fast enough, we might be able to go for another deployment on the other side of this, because we don't want to end up behind the tornado either. So let's race it across this cornfield. And that reminds me of that song, what's it, Julian Smith? Akbar? Maybe I should add an Akbar reference. Just have a random bit of corn with a face drawn on it. Right, let's try the same thing again. Actually, how do I... I don't know if we're going to get overrun. Right, all we can do, quick recall, quick deploy. All we can do is try and hope for the best. It's half a mile wide, it's just to our left. All I can do is floor it. If it hunts, at least we've got this road here. Look at that thing, man. Absolute monster. What's the probe camera seeing? I think is it directly in the middle? It's in the eye. Right, what I should do is position myself on this road, because if it does hunt, I don't want to spend the first few seconds of the hunt when I'm this close off-road when I can only piddle along at 20 miles an hour. It's getting F3 strength. Tonio's already passed over it. Oh, see, that was that good planning or what? Quick recall. Seems we're not really gonna have time to change the data type. Right, let's just plan my plan my escape. I do not want to bring it through those towns, so I reckon we take this next left. Quick deploy, and then we're going to take the next left, and then head south. Because yeah, now that we have towns, it's not as easy as just picking a nice road. Sometimes you have a nice straight road, but it's going to take it through towns like I just saw there. How fast is it moving? It's moving 73. Wow, this is going to be hard to outrun. Right, we just got to keep our foot to the floor and hope for the best. There's no if I follow this road, I can just follow this road, no slowing down to change direction. We can only outpace it by about 20 miles an hour. How's our data looking? Oh, stopped hunting. Okay, it's going to do a little circle on... Right, let's take this next motorway. It looks like it's heading this way. We might see our first motorway collapse in career mode. Is this still getting data? F1, let's just recall it. Right, turn off the camera. Figure out where we need to be. Right, this is putting us almost exactly in the path. Right, I think we need to stop right about here. Right, I'm going to hop out and change the data type. Let's go back to wind. Deploy. Why isn't it? Come on, move. Right, we need to get off this because once it hits the overpass, if it does collapse, like I say, we'll fall down with the overpass. We need to warn those towns again. So once we get down here, we need to turn right and then the next left. It's getting close. Let's see, what's the probe getting? F1, F2. I've got to make sure I don't miss my turn either. Right, my turn's coming up. We can go left and warn these towns again. I think should we do another deployment? It looks like it's coming this way. Let's see, quick recall. Let's see what data we're lacking in the most. Probably still wind actually. Deploy there and then let's warn this town. Then we'll go over the hill and warn the town on the other side of the hill. Maybe power flash like it's destroying a building. Yeah, I kind of just like having them happen randomly. Otherwise, if it's only when it's destroying like a building or like electricity pylon, you're not going to see them as often. Alright, let's go over the hill. Let's have a quick photo. It looks like it's turning a little bit more. Let's see, what's our probe getting? F1 right now. Right, I need to look at what I'm doing. Looks like it's coming this way. What I can do is have particle power flashes. So right now it's just like the funnel which gets illuminated. I could add particle power flashes for actual things which get impacted. Yeah, I don't know why this is doing this. I'll have to patch that. Do a hot fix. I won't be able to do that tonight because I need to go to bed, time for work tomorrow. But tomorrow's job will be patching those little terrain blips. Plus I think I'll add a thing which, like those pop-ups you get now saying 3 lives saved, 6 lives saved, 5 lives saved. We need to have that for the samples as well. Okay, it's getting F3 samples. Is that getting impacted directly? Okay, F3 seems to be the most there. So now what we're lacking in is temperature data. So let's just look at its path and figure out our next intercept. Our next intercept could probably be right here, but we're going to have to go quickly. We need to go east. That's west. East. If I hesitate too much, we're not going to have a chance to do it at all. So it's yellow, so not everybody's in the shelter yet. So quick recall. And what did I say I needed? Temperature data next. Right, we need to make it to that intersection before the tornado does. Otherwise we're going to be stuck behind it again. Alright, it's getting windy. Slightly, just a little bit windy. Quick deploy. I don't actually think we're going to be able to change the data type. But we can go for another deployment here. This will give us a bit more buffer room. Okay, I think that's a direct hit on the probe. Right, let's take the next right. Let's just let the probe get its data. What's the probe getting? F2 right now, F3. Okay, another hunt. Okay, quick recall. Right, let's great. Let's plan our escape then. This way. So let's take the next right. While we've got a chance to actually slow down slightly. That is catching up on us quickly. Right. But then, once we're on this road, we just need to go straight. And we should be able to... How fast is it moving? 77. We're doing 86. Right. Our top speed is a bit faster than that. Right. I think we're safe. Relatively safe now. As safe as you can be when a tornado's actively pursuing you. Do a quick deploy, hopefully get some F5 data. We need to stay on the road though. Everything a few hundred yards behind is just getting lifted. Right, I think we'll... If it's still hunting, we're going to have to loop like this. I wonder if I have enough time, probably not, to change the data type. Okay, quick recall, quick deploy. I wonder if that overpass is going to get destroyed, because that's F5. Are we getting sub-vortices? Not quite yet. Is that overpass? I kind of want to slow down a bit. I just want to see if that overpass gets destroyed. Gotta remember that it's coming towards me at 70 miles an hour. Right, are we probe camera? We'll get an F2. Okay, it stopped hunting, but now the question is which directions are going to go, and do we need to warn anyone? F3? F4? Or we're going to get F5? We're going to get our first F5 sample. Oh, just shy of it. We might see this motorway get destroyed though. I want to see if overpass destruction's working in the game. Okay, we do need to switch over to temperature data. I'll do it. We're still getting F2 data. There's no point clearing that out while we're still collecting good data. I want to race it to this overpass. Actually, we should be able to see that overpass from this road up here. Let's get up here and try and go for one more intercept. Do quick recall, and I'll just stop quickly because we need to change it to, which one is it I'm lacking? Temperature. Temperature, yeah. So collect temperature data. Right, now we need to race it again to the intercept point, which looks like it's going to be along here. And preferably I can get on the other side of it so I'm behind it and not trapped between it and the edge of the map. Where's the intercept point? I think it's right about here, isn't it? Let's do quick deploy, and we'll want to get on the west side of this now, so we're not stuck between it and the edge of the map. I might be really unlucky it hunts again. What job do I work at? So I don't want to name my employer because I try and keep a strict separation between my game and my employer. But whereas I write embedded C++, so I write code which runs on actual devices. So you've got like stuff like Python where you might like write code which runs on a web server, or you might like write like a user interface or something which runs on like a desktop PC, whereas I write something which runs on like custom electronics. That's what embedded is. Oh, I think we're going to get head-on intercept. F2, so data, so if we can get this to be non-zero, there we go. F3, I'll try and zoom up and zoom out, like pan up and zoom out, so we can kind of see like the eye of the tornado. But sometimes it's really hard to see. You can kind of just see it there, like the darker bit in the middle. Dropping down to F1 strength. But yeah, if you look around, it's like it's just clear inside. Just this hollow shell. And it gets strong again as the tornado moves over the other side. F4, we're going to get F5. No, it was a 261 for F5. That's what it looks like on the other side of it. Still got some impressive motion in that funnel. So I think this, once it stops collecting data, I think I'll call the stream once it's finished collecting the data. I'll analyze it all, see how much money we make, buy some upgrades, and I think I'll call it a night there. Because the stream's running on an hour and a half. I do need to be going to bed now. I really like the look of this tornado. And then after that, yeah, so after I've analysed everything, at the end of the stream, get ready for bed and then work, and then after work I can start working on the game again. Is the probe still collecting data? But it's still, look how far away it is. It's still getting F1 data. Okay, I'll do, quick recall won't work in here. But let's analyze it. So, this is a good chase. It's a shame we didn't get any F4 samples on the pressure data. We're halfway between PhD and postdoc now. We've saved 400 lives. So let's analyze and see what we get. Wow. 110,000. Let's level everything up. That's the difference maxing everything out, the multipliers out makes. Right, what? I still think off-roading is like the biggest bang for your buck in terms of convenience. I definitely think we should increase our sampling rate on these, especially given how cheap they are. Because it just means you get more samples for the same amount of effort. Paved road, I think we spend a lot of our times on paved road. Definitely don't add weight to the truck. And then radar quality. There we go. Let's see what reflectivity and velocity look like now. What about velocity? There we go. We even got, was it range aliasing? Or velocity aliasing, where it's flipped around so you got some red inside the green and some green inside the red. So we'll watch as it dissipates off the map, and then I'll have to call it a night. Oh, that thing just spinning. So I think we're getting. Did we get one upgrade each for these or two? I think it was two because it went from. So we were at 0.9 seconds per sample, then I think we were upgraded to 0.8 and then 0.7. So it's saying the next one is 0.6. So how many more samples is that per second? So we were on 0.9. So if it's one sample every 0.9 seconds, let me just get my calculator up. That is like 1.1 samples per second. So now assuming it's 0.7, so 1 divided by 1.4. So that's 1.4 divided by 1.11. Yeah, about 30% more samples per intercept now, which isn't bad. Take a third extra samples any day, just for the same effort. Yeah, I think it's starting to weaken. Has it gone off the map? Yes, let's just watch as this weakens and ropes out. Hello, Neon. Thanks for joining. Sorry, just about to end the stream. We're just going to watch this rope out, and then I'm going to have to call it a night. Did have probably our most successful intercept on stream, though. Cashed in $110,000 in the game currency. Yeah, so the very first tornado was like a thin needle, which barely touched the ground and then went off the map. Then the second tornado was a bit better, more of a stovepipe, but the road network that the game generated was horrendous and we never got like a single intercept. So then I risked it, exited it, went back to career mode, and then we had this map, and then it's been like a very action-packed chase. So I'd say the last 30 minutes at least of the stream are definitely the ones worth watching. So just watching this fade out, and then I'll call it a night. Don't worry, there's no new features or anything. I literally just thought I've just released a new build of the game. Let's just hang out, have fun. This is more just a gameplay stream than a development stream. So now we're closer to a stovepipe. I don't think the camera's at the limit of its zoom. That's what it actually looks like. I wonder if I make the zoom less notchy. It's very notchy, isn't it? Better have like a smooth zoom like an actual video camera. Give all that 90s vibe. Maybe add that sound effect when the lens is zooming in and out. I just saw a TikTok. It was like a horror game, but the way the game mechanic works is like a completely blacked out apartment, and you've just got to use a camera flash to navigate around. So obviously the game is just set up for just really intense jump scares. One thing I do kind of seeing a lot of commotion going on right now about the movie Obsession. I think I might go and see it one night after work. There goes, it's on the lift. trying out new update in an hour or two. Oh, cool. Yeah, I hope you're enjoying it on. And it's 10:30 p.m. here, but I've been having on and off insomnia last couple of weeks. So uh, I guess if I'm unable to sleep, I'll be able to catch a stream. Not that I'm trying to watch your stream to put myself to sleep. I'll clarify that. But if I need to go to sleep to get a decent amount of sleep before work tomorrow. But if I can't sleep, I'll check out your stream. Otherwise, I'll watch it tomorrow after work. It's almost there, right? So it's just about to lift now. It's almost for 2 hours. Yeah, I had a bit more time tonight to do it. So yeah, gonna call it a night now. That's a pretty successful chase. Made our first 6 figures. Yeah, what I'll do is I'll work on the game for the next couple of nights, and then stream once I've got something new to show. There is real severe weather out there, so check the Storm Prediction Centre website. Have your weather radio handy. Make sure you've got a way of getting updates and alerts. And if you know anybody who's in those risk areas, let them know to be aware. And yes, stay safe. I'll see you all in the next stream. I'm signing out now.